Hello everyone, Timely Matter here, back with another video. This time it's of the Bugatti Tourbillon. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, like the Ferrari F80, or you look at my Instagram stories, you would have known that I mentioned I made the Tourbillon and that I would keep it private. I wasn't going to be showing it in public. So why have I decided to show this car all of a sudden? Well, I wanted to reserve showing the public videos of my MOCs to MOCs that I think move the game forward in terms of making Speed Champions MOCs at this scale. Lego cars at the sort of 8 wide-ish sort of scale, right? And this is my fourth version actually of the Tourbillon. Just in secret, I've been working on making many versions of this car, and this is the fourth version, believe it or not, that I've made. And I've gotten to the point where I've incorporated a number of functions in this car, and I think some of them are particularly unique, and I've not seen anybody do them before. So I think it's just time that I actually showed this car so that other people can look at it. And I'm hoping, as I always do with most of my videos, people look at this and get inspired and see what is actually possible with Lego. So I'm going to first discuss just the outward appearance of this car, just the sort of build based on how it looks as you see it here. And then later on in the video, I'm going to get to all the functions. So first of all, let's start with the front. You can see immediately from the front that this is actually a 9 wide build. I decided to do a 9 wide build because from the moment I saw pictures of the Tourbillon, I think the design really spoke to me, first of all, with the width of the front of the car, especially how low and flat it is. Also how large the center mouth, the horseshoe grille of the Bugatti Tourbillon, it looks just so wide and so sporty. I think it just looks perfect for a Bugatti. And in my opinion, I think the Tourbillon looks so much better than the Chiron. I think it's sort of takes inspiration from the Mistral and also that Bugatti Atlantic concept that came out a few years ago. And I think the 9 wide build helped me to realize the proportions that are needed for this car in Lego form. The sort of shape of the wide horseshoe grille and also the wide side intakes as well. And also I got the chance to use some of these new wedge pieces here. And initially I made the car in blue, then I made a version in white, and then here I have it in dark azure. And this piece came from a very recent set that I think came out in August. It was one of the Animal Crossing sets that had this piece, and I was like, oh, that's perfect for the Bugatti Tourbillon. And these lights here are my favorite detail at the front, because you can see that this is a typical quarter round tile that's in trans clear, but this on the other hand is actually the half circle tile, half round circle tile in clear as well. And you can see that it's offset slightly to be sort of half stud forwards, and you can see just the shape of the lights and how they follow the wedges on the bottom and on the top, and it gives that sort of looking forward angle of the lights. And I think that just suits the real thing, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. Now in the center here, you can see that one of my favorite details is the French flag here, which has been recreated with how these are stickers, of course, with just bricks and plates there you can see. And it's also the Bugatti signature line, the C line, which again has been faithfully recreated in this region here. So I really like that. And as you probably know from the thumbnail of the video, that there are working doors in this car, the working dihedral doors, and I was happy that I can actually maintain the shape of the C with the doors as well. So I'm going to show you the doors later on, like I said, with all the functions. Now, when we get to the rear of the car, this is another thing that I don't think I've seen in a lot of MOCs, and that is the real car has actually a very slight rake forward, which helps with the aerodynamics, helps with the function of the diffuser to create more downforce. And I wanted to recreate that, but I didn't want to use like a single plate higher rake at the rear, because I think that's a bit too extreme. So I used the ball joint that has a bar coming out of it, and that allows me to make the rear wheels just half a plate higher than the front wheels. And I think it's very subtle. I'm not sure if it'll even be that visible on camera. But for me personally, I think it really helps the look, makes the Bugatti Tourbillon even more aggressive looking. Goes along with obviously the front grille being bigger and more sporty as well. So just here in this top section, I want to mention that this section here where I use this wedge, this 2x5 wedge, and these two pieces here in this section of the car, this is inspired by the G bricks. So I started building this car very early on, right after the Tourbillon pictures were released, and I was actually having some trouble with this section. And then he released his first design not too long after that, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really convenient solution for the problem I was having. So I took inspiration from how he did that. And now with the rear of the car, you can see I actually used these seaweed pieces in dark red from some of the Avatar sets that came out a year or two ago. I kept these knowing that someday I was going to be able to use them for some rear lights, and finally here we are. And again, the 9 wide sort of shape of the car, the fact that I used 9 studs as the width, allowed me to use these two pieces lined up together, joined by that one clip there. And surprisingly, these, even though these are very sort of precariously attached, they don't actually move around that much, so that's good. The diffusers here, very important for creating the downforce of the car. Actually, if you look at any of the interviews that Mate Rimac did on YouTube about the Bugatti Tourbillon, he'll tell you that actually the car doesn't actually need to use its spoiler to create the downforce that it needs at high speed for stability. It actually achieves all the downforce from just the diffuser, which I think is really cool and impressive. And also, another thing that I think not a lot of people manage to do is capture the shape of the exhaust. So here you can see these rectangular gaps at the rear of the car, which are a representation of the exhaust in the Bugatti Tourbillon. And I also want to show you that if I shine a light into there, you can see just that little bit of orange that's in there, that trans orange. That's just a representation of the fact that, of course, there is a combustion engine in there, and it's the combustion going on from the naturally aspirated V16. And so yes, here is some of the engine detail as well. And that is the exterior of the car. Now we can get to the functions of the car. First off, really quickly, is the passive function that you can already see right now, and that is the fact that there are 2 minifigures sitting in there. This is based on a custom chassis, so it's fully brick built, not using the Speed Champions chassis to allow for the functioning doors. And even with the sort of compromised space of a custom brick built chassis, I was still able to fit 2 minifigures in there. If we start from the front, we have some storage space at the trunk, and this is obviously because the Bugatti Tourbillon is a Hyper GT car, and so you need to be able to bring belongings for the minifigures because they're going to be traveling a lot with this car. So I've just got 2 phones here, one for him and one for her, and I can just slide that in there like so, and just close this right up. Now we get to the center of the car where we have the doors, and dihedral doors are quite a complex mechanism. They actually do lock, so I can actually pick the whole car up from the door. The door is just like that, and it's actually still durable. But to open the doors first, for me, it's most convenient to just take the sort of windshields to the side a bit, and then you gotta unlock the car doors, just sliding these out like that. And then if you lift them up from the bottom here, I wouldn't say these are something that I would like to be doing very often because it's just a bit fiddly. Of course, at such a small scale, it is quite difficult to sort of get these to work, but they are actually quite strong. So I can actually just leave the door just midway like that, and it's not going to fall apart. And the same thing on this side. I just take this off now. And I just do this. I'm not going to speed this up because I'm going to show you that this is the real mechanism. Like, I'm not going to pretend like this is something that is ultra durable just on camera. But there you have it. See, in real time. Takes about like 10 seconds, 20 seconds or so. I don't know how long that was. But you can see that the car has very accurate doors that open. And if I just turn this around, one of the things I like to see on this car is the fact that you can see some of the aero that's going on the doors that just come up with it. But also, if I turn this around here, you can see how the minifigures sit inside the car. The minifigures just sit with the sort of panels that sit between their feet. So they're easy to take in and out, but they also just don't move around because they're still secure. And finally, one more mechanism, and that is the rear spoiler. So if you see this spoiler here, currently it's flat. If I press a button that's in the engine bay area, you can see that it deploys. And that's what it looks like from the front as well. It's a subtle angle, it's not like really big, but I think it's significant. And I like knowing that the car can enter into handling mode. And there you have it. That is the Bugatti Tourbillon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys sort of see this and realize that actually there's so much you can do with Lego at this scale. All of these are legal building techniques. I didn't use any custom parts. These are all factory Lego parts. And actually you can still do things like this, which is absolutely crazy. I didn't think I'd be able to do this, but here it is. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and look forward to the next one.